In this video, I want to share with you some simple strategies how you can generate leads for your business on YouTube. The first thing I would say to you is that you must have your systems in place, okay? And when I say systems, what do I mean by that? Well, the software stack. And as a full stack developer, I take my software stack very seriously. One, from terms of cost, because as a business, you don't want to be spending frivolously on software that, one, you don't need, two, you don't really use that much, and three, it's not actually serving you in the best way, shape, way, or form. Okay, so you need to have the best software systems in place that's right for your business. Because I've seen with previous clients and prospects who I speak to, a lot of the time they say the same things. They say, hey, I'm paying for this software. And I say, okay, is it doing what you need it to do? And they're like, no, but it's the best that we have. It's like, well, stop there. The first thing is that it's not doing the thing that you want it to do. And we think about that like it's normal, but it's not normal, because in this day and age, you can now build software relatively cheaper than what it used to be, and you can actually build it to your specification. And that's why I'd gone on a campaign the last 2 years, pretty much 2 years and a quarter, of building my own entire software stack, from operations to creative to marketing, to sales, CRM, revenue intelligence. All of these things I have built because I needed it. And you can actually generate leads through YouTube by, one, having the right systems in place to capture those people, specifically the leads, not capturing people. And the second thing is creating the content around your business that is actually intuitive to the people who you're trying to target. Meaning, let's say if I'm doing, HVAC, okay, air conditioning units, etc., and I'm targeting people in a hot climate, I would say something like, and I've done videos on this, where I would say something like, is your HVAC system up to scratch and ready for the summer? So who is that going to appeal to? It's clearly going to be appealing to people who is looking to upgrade their system for their air conditioning. It's going to appeal to people who are looking for air conditioning in their property for whatever reason. It's going to speak to that specific person. And that's how specific and granular you can get with the content that you make to generate leads, because it isn't about views anymore. You could have a video that has 1,000 views and you make, 50 leads from that video. That's better than having a video that does 10,000 views and you get no leads. Because it's not about the vanity metrics. We want to be making sure the views that we are getting are from the right ICP, the initial or ideal client profile. Okay, you want to make sure that the videos are for the right person, because there's no point doing it otherwise. You're just wasting the minutes. And as I've said in previous videos, your trust score, which I might put up on the screen, you want to make sure that trust score and the minutes that you distribute on YouTube is going to the right people, because then the trust score actually has value. So I've, dabbled here and there on this channel with some different formats, just more for testing purposes. But I know what the core of it is now, right? I'm maybe 76, I don't know, by the time I've uploaded this video, 76, 77 videos, something like that. But I know it's business tools, it's self-development. It's tools for business owners and operators, and it's self-development, people who want to develop themselves, enhance their skills, specifically in business, okay? So that's what the content is about. And anyone who's looking for tools to make their business more efficient, that would be a lead, okay? I would put the link in my description, as I do, and people who see this video, see this content, can then decide if I'm the person that can solve their problems. It isn't about trying to convince you or anybody else that I am the right fit for you. That really is down to you. I can't change that. All I can do is make the videos and put them in the place where people watch them. And I can package it the best way possible to hopefully find the people that is looking for the thing that I have. And as a developer who builds multiple types of software, I've realized that you can build things in such a way that enhances people's experience on a day-to-day basis. It doesn't have to be, all for profit and I just want to get subscribers. No, I actually tend, and most of the time, put design first. I put functionality first, and I put the customer, the user first. That's who I'm designing it for. I'm not designing it for me, even though I do use these tools in my business, but I'm designing it for you. So when I'm creating content, every time I'm looking in the camera and I'm thinking, who is that ideal customer profile behind the lens? That's how you should be approaching the videos that you make to get you the leads that you're looking for on YouTube. And if you just always have that person behind the camera, you could even put an image up there and of the ideal customer profile, right? All the different characteristics or whatever, but just ingrain their needs into your brain. Because if you can do that, every time that you do a video, you're speaking to that one person, that one business owner for me who is looking to use YouTube as a vehicle to generate more business. And again, established businesses do have an advantage because one, they've got cash flow already, which is great. You can invest in, gear, in production, right? You can invest in your team to learn things. Might not necessarily want to hire outside of your organization. You might hire someone to train them, for example, a creative strategist, maybe someone like myself. But ideally, what you want is to invest in your team. You want to be able to invest in the right software. Once you get that plan of action, and you're like, okay, this is how much it's going to cost us. This is what the maintenance cost is to make all this content, to make sure it's done in the right way, and we can track it and get all the tools we need. Perfect. Happy days. So you might have an advantage if you're an established business. And all of those things can actually help you get more leads on YouTube. But you've got to do the content that makes sense to that ideal customer profile. There's no point doing, a podcast if you know the clients that you're trying to get and usually get are not really interested in the podcast. And that's what I've seen over the past few years. There's so many podcasts now. It's still a relatively small amount in comparison to the population of the planet, but there's so many podcasts. And a lot of the times people are just doing it because they think that's the thing they should do. But maybe the content that you should do is just one-on-one with the camera. Maybe it's walking content. Maybe it's just you talking to the camera and reflecting. There's many different formats is the point I'm getting across here. It doesn't necessarily have to be something that you deem as popular just because it's popular. That might not be a fit for your business, but you're never going to know that until you, of course, upload YouTube videos. You're never going to know that until you get some feedback from some leads that are generated. You're never going to know that if you don't have the systems in place to put the links out, to track the links, to see where the best traffic is coming from, whether it's YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Snapchat, doesn't matter. You're never going to know that if you don't have the systems in place for it. And that's why I've spent the past couple of years building those systems specifically, which you can check in the link in the bio or a video that I'll post at the end of this. And you can decide for yourself if they make sense for you. And I profess that the more videos that you do, the higher the likelihood that you're going to get more leads coming into your business. If you just think about it as a numbers game, if I post one video a week, I'm giving myself one chance on YouTube to get discovered. Just one chance. And I've got to think about all of the videos that get uploaded on a daily basis. And I have to think, is my one video going to cut through all the noise of what's on YouTube? Or am I shooting myself in the foot? Metaphorically speaking, right? You don't want that. I think personally, especially as a business, operate as if you're operating from your store or your available hours. Maybe you should be offering content on a daily basis, maybe a hourly basis, maybe a 4-hourly basis. It doesn't really matter in the big scheme of things. You just got to figure out what schedule makes the most sense for you in order for you to get the leads. because you might have to do more volume because of the nature of your business. I don't know, depending on the sector. For me personally, because I've automated pretty much near enough 90% of the work that's required for my business, I can now spend more time on YouTube specifically, which is what I'm doing. And hence why you'll probably see me keep popping up on your feed, because I'm pumping out videos, scheduling videos every couple of hours, because I want as many chances as humanly possible to get in front of my ideal customer profile, which is you. A business who wants to go onto YouTube, a business who has the resources to invest in their software stack to make their job and their team's jobs easier. That's what you want. You want the ability to navigate through YouTube effortlessly, right? Like a Mercedes AMG GT, smooth, just cutting through the roads, effortless. That's what you want. But you have to make the content first, that is for sure. You have to make the content that makes sense for the ideal customer profile. Don't get segued into content that, no one really wants. And I am now doing this even more so with my content, where I'm speaking to business owners, speaking to people who operate on the internet, operators, people who manage software for themselves, for clients, for their business. I'm speaking to you, creators who have no systems whatsoever, who are sick and tired of paying for certain software. And not all of the software, enterprise software that I sell, will be beneficial to everyone. No. It is dependent on the use case of the individual. However, I know who I'm making content for, and I know that they are on this platform because it's the biggest streaming platform on the internet. And if you think of those things on a daily basis, and every time you make a video, you're like, that's who I'm speaking to. I'm making that video for this person. And if you already have clients, think about it like this. You already know who the ideal customer profile is. So you just talk to that person. You've got the data, you've got the transaction history, you've got all of these things that can give you some insights into who your customer is because you've already got them. We don't always have to reinvent the wheel with content and reaching out to the ideal people. You can just think about the basics, like, okay, these customers bought from me before. Check. What are the patterns of those particular customers? Check. Okay, these are the patterns. Let's do that again. And again, and again, and again. Then you codify that into a video and you repeat and do it over and over and over again. And it might seem like you're not getting anywhere because you're thinking, I'm trying to get leads. How do I generate leads for my business? Well, you do it this way, by doing what I just said, then uploading repeatedly, right? Repeatedly. You know what I'm trying to say. Constant uploads to reach that ICP. If you do that over a long period of time, you're going to get leads, and YouTube will start generating leads for you based on the videos that you make. The skill then is getting good at the videos and getting great at the videos that you make. Getting so refined that every video is speaking to that person, and you've got a good chance of them coming to your business. And that's what it's about, isn't it? It's about getting the clients, getting customers, people interested in your product. But you've got to get in front of them. You've got to get in front of them in the right way. The right platform for sure is YouTube. And sometimes when I'm talking about this, I feel like a YouTube ambassador, right? But that's not the case. I just know that this platform is very, very mature at this point. And I see the results because, like I said, I study this. I can show you a bunch of creators with a bunch of different business profiles, different sectors, who are all doing different things. But the key thing that I see, and it's the premise of that software, which is called Alfina AI. It checks all the leading creators, should I say, on YouTube. The key thing is the content. Without that, I wouldn't even know who they are. Just think about it like that. Without the content, How would I know who that person is when they're in another country, a different city? They might speak a different language. How am I going to know? The only way I know is that they did YouTube content. They have links in the descriptions to guide people where they want them to go. That's how you're going to do it. But I'm not talking about Google Forms, which a lot of people tend to do, which is fine if you want those lo-fi, low maintenance type of situations, but they're not really the best for scalability. They're not the best for reading data without you building a spreadsheet from scratch and charts and all that stuff. I'm talking about technology that just does that. I'm talking about the technology that you just click a button and it tells you because it's already been programmed. All of those thoughts is that's my special sauce. That's where I design and code these things to make it easily useful for you. So you don't have to do all the charts you don't have to you just click pie chart, horizontal chart, bar chart, and it displays the data nice. Where's the data coming from? Well, it's from this link, this link, this link, this link. Nice. How am I getting my emails? Well, you have your subscribers on your first party creator page. You put that link into your bio. People click that, they fill in the information, that feeds into your database, and voila, you've got subscribers. Now you want to contact them, right? Of course. So you go into campaigns and then you start to do your email campaign in first party. So I've thought about all of these things because this is the job of a creative strategist. My previous client, an investment firm, cannot speak about too much because of their non-disclosures. However, what I can say is these are all of the things that I would do for them and for other clients as well. Might be smaller businesses, but it's the same process. It's repeated steps. Every time we want to capture, we want to contact, we don't want to bombard and spam, but we want to give them meaningful updates and information and things and strategies that can actually help them. That's why I say subscribe to my newsletter, because I share more information like this, every other day via email. No long essays, just insights that I'm getting in real time. That's the game that we are playing today. And that is how you generate leads. It's not going to happen straight away, but you have to put the work in. You have to put hours of work before you get anything back. That is the nature of the creator economy, unfortunately, or fortunately. But you see, I say fortunately, because if you're starting out fresh and you've never done video before, then you need to learn how it's going to work for you. You need to learn what videos make the most sense. You need to learn, like, okay, we did this right or we did this wrong. This subject actually resonated, this one not so much. This edit was a bit too overproduced, right? This edit could have done more, could have updated the color grading, could have fixed the lighting, the camera angle. All of these little nuances you start to pick up because you're doing it. You're doing more videos, one after the other. And every video you get better. Every video you get new insights where you can tweak things and change this and improve that. That is the game. And that is how you begin to get leads through YouTube, because people can see the charisma through the camera. People can see, is this person competent or not? Is their product good? That's why I now tend to do less like share my screen and share the product, because the product is quite intense. They're business tools, right? So it's easier for me to say, look, let's book a demo call and I'll actually show it to you and you can ask a bunch of questions, because it's new software, you don't know how it works, and you need to be educated on it, right? You need to be trained on it. I could say, go watch this video, which I've done a deep dive on first party specifically. I've done a deep dive on Lydia, where you can then go watch in your own time and get some insights without the ability to obviously ask questions. Hence why I say book a demo call. But that is the best way to conduct this type of business. It's the best way to get the same message across without bombarding my ICP. And once you figure out the best way to do that for your business, your product, your service, you'll start to get a rhythm the more videos that you produce. And the more videos you produce over time, generally the more leads that you will generate. But you got to have systems in place. I cannot skip past that. And it's not a thing of just plug in first party. You can use that or not. But personally, if I'm a business owner, I'm not relying on, Google Forms and Type Forms and all of these things. And shout out to Google because they're one of my tech partners for first party. We have video calling built into first party. We have streaming with Kick, shout out to Kick, built into first party. So I'm just saying there's a better way to do it for specific tasks. And when you start to manage and track all of this information and data on the internet as you put in your content out, you need a system where it's all coming to one centralized place that you can just, look at and decipher, is what we're doing working. That's what I'm getting at. And that is how you will nurture and farm these leads on YouTube. So I hope that video was useful. If you are a business, as I said, that wants to go into YouTube enterprise world and you need the systems to manage that and you're not sure and you want to ask questions, then feel free to book a demo call. The link's in the bio. And I look forward to speaking to you. So see you on the next one.